If we don't have a basket in the back, we can find one. Thank you again for coming to our last TalkBack of the summer. We've done these as fundraisers for our homeless community. Every Tuesday we feed approximately 200 homeless people just from the front gate, feed and clothe. So we've been asking for donations. If you can make a donation, great. If not, no worries. Thank you for coming today. But again, if you're interested in helping our homeless community, you can see me afterwards. You can email chat@hollywoodumc.org. And I can send you some information as well. But every Tuesday we feed and clothe about 200 homeless people, and this has just been a little project we've done in the summer to help raise awareness and to help raise some funds. Please welcome Gary and Larry Lane. So we had a different film that we were going to do, we planned back in the spring, and it's a social justice film that we were planning on doing. It just felt kind of dark at this time of year, especially after the whole Dark Knight Rises massacre. And I've known Gary and Larry for many 15 years maybe, starting back when I was in casting in Georgia. And so I'd seen the documentary at Outfest last July, and I said, we've got to do this instead. And if you've not seen the movie, they have copies of it here. So you can buy your own autographed copy as you walk out. If not, we'll also plan to do a church night. We'll do like one night. Okay. We'll figure out a night and do like a church outing at the NoHo 7, which is a great theater, next month.
And we appreciate you guys letting us be a part of it. So I know the other film fell out, but we were happy to fill the space of it. So.
Well, I just feel like this is a better message and a better story, and it's lighter and happier, and it's got dollars.
Yeah, it's got dollars. We grew up Southern Baptist, so we've gone through a lot with our religion and our struggles. So it was hard for us to tell the message of the story because, of our family back in North Carolina. So it's been very positive. Dolly's been positive with the project. The family in North Carolina is still a work in progress. So
let's start back at the beginning. Let's start back at the beginning. So in North Carolina, you grow up.
Are you guys going to use the microphone?
Yeah.
Do you guys need it? Or
they might in the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear in the back?
Yeah. Okay, we don't hear you.
They just projected them.
Okay.
So let's start at the beginning. Growing up in North Carolina, how big was the town that you guys lived in when you grew up?
We have a big Air Force base there, so we probably had about 50,000. The Air Force base added a lot to that. But it was very small town, North Carolina. We're about an hour east of Raleigh. And, it was church 3 times a week. You go Wednesday night, 2 times on Sunday. But our pastor told us we were going to burn in hell, unlike you. So we got But so we kind of grew up in the church and kind of realizing when we were getting, up into the early teens that something was different, trying to figure it all out, but then hearing our preacher, say that every week, it was hard. And that's kind of how we came on to Dolly, because back in those days, like in the 80s, she would be on Oprah or CNN or wherever she was. They were always fascinated that she always stood behind her gay fans and didn't turn her back on them. So they would always ask her a question, well, why are you so good to your gay fans? And we started listening to her, and she would always say, I love everybody. I don't believe anyone should be judged. Everyone should be who they are and be allowed to be who they are. And we kind of felt an acceptance from her that we weren't getting at home, so we were kind of drawn to her. And then growing up, that's when we wrote the screenplay. We wanted to kind of pay tribute to what she meant to us in our life. So that's what initially started Hollywood to Dollywood.
At what point did you realize that what you were feeling went against what your church was?
I'll tell a good story. So our dad was not on the religious side. Our mom was like the Southern Baptist. So one time, I think we were 12, our mom had gone somewhere and our dad was like, well, we're going to watch a movie. We're going to watch this movie called Blue Lagoon. And all during the movie, our dad was like, that's Brooke Shields. And we're like, who's that? Just for acting started me on this whole blonde hair, blue eye thing that I've stayed with like my movie, so that was our initial, when I knew that we were not looking at Brooke Shields and we were trying to figure out who the other guy was, so Christopher Atkins. So that was when we first knew something was going on. So that was the story.
But as a lot of studies have shown, not with twins, not necessarily one twin is straight, one
always say, you know, when I would hear the preacher say, you know, your family, you're going to burn in hell, the one I was the closest to was him. So I was more worried about him finding out about me than anybody. So really, I kind of built an even bigger wall here so he would never find out because I didn't want to lose him in my life. So then later on our
we
senior
had gone
trip,
on like a cruise. We were 17. It was our senior trip. And so there's kind of like a tracker on the top of the boat. So we're running around the top of the track. And there's these 3 guys off to the side that are just kind of making eyes. And we have to pay attention because it could be the twin look or it could be like the look. So once we figured it out, we were standing there and the guy, he was behind me and I was looking at the one guy here, but the other guy kept looking behind me and I was thinking, well, I'm up here, what's he looking at? And I looked back and it's so funny because I saw the exact face that I would have made if I was kind of being flirty, and then it just clicked. And we just kind of clicked right there and he kind of knew, and so we were 17 and a half, we went down to our room and just kind of sat in the dark for like 45 minutes and didn't say anything. And then I was like, I'm gay, and then he said, I'm gay, and then we talked for like 5 hours, still sitting in the dark. And then after that, we were kind of like a support system for each other. And we told our parents at 25, so it was almost 8 years later when we told them.
And where were you, had you moved to LA at that? Yeah, you moved to LA at that point.
What we had done, we were actually in New York, and we'd been in New York for a couple of years, and we were going to go home to North Carolina for 3 or 4 months, and then move out to LA. So this outing story is in the movie. So what we did was I forwarded our mail down to North Carolina from New York because we didn't have LA address yet. So there's a magazine, and it was just called XY Magazine. It was about like gay youth and growing up gay. It was just a magazine that we subscribed to. So I said, wow, call XY and go ahead and cancel that. We definitely don't want that floating in North Carolina. So and the woman's like, well, you know, we sent your current issue out, Mr. Lane, but I can freeze the subscription, you know. So anyway, we kept talking to our mom. We were like, has our mail started coming? She's like, yeah, I got a few things. And I was like, well, she didn't mention. I think she would have exploded if she got the magazine. So we drive all the way down from New York to North Carolina, and our mom, beside her nightstand, all of our life, there's this big white Bible, and it has Holy Bible in gold print, and it always sits by her nightstand, and it is on the island of the kitchen table. And I was like, why is the Bible? We barely have time to walk into the den and set our suitcases down, and our mom comes on the corner, and you know the magazines, they come in like that black wrapper, you can't read it, it's that classic. So she has that, and she pulls the wrapper down, and it was like XY Magazine. And this particular issue, I've still got it. It was growing up gay, parents, what to do now that you know. That was did you read it? No. And so our mom with the Bible, all of our life, if she thought we broke a lamp, if she thought we were telling a lie, she'd say, you put your hand on the Bible and tell me you didn't do it. And we knew that was like lying to God, and we'd always write ourselves out. We'd say, we did it. And so she said, all I want you to do, and her eyes were puffy because she'd been crying, she said, all I want you to do is put your hand on the Bible and tell me you're not gay. So that's what she wants to do, and we were 25 at this time and getting ready to go, and I said, we can't do that because we are gay, and so she kind of went into a denial, and you know, that was kind of like our well, just like prayers for Bobby, she literally left the Bible verses laying around for the next 3 days. I was like, we went on out to LA, I was like, I can't handle this. So. But you know, the one thing in the message where you saw Larry, I call that like his Julia Sugar Baker moment, that speech, you know, she would go on those tirades on that show. But anyway, so in that moment, because we were kind of way into the documentary at that point, and we knew that our mom was going to feel betrayed when the movie came out, like telling the story about the Bible and things like that. So it just kind of all caught up to him, especially at that moment. And our mom knows that the movie is out there, but she doesn't want to see it. She knows that we've got the music from Dolly. Our dad has seen the movie, and he said he was proud of it. He actually reached out to my partner Mike on Facebook through one of our friends there in our town, and just said, thank you for being in his life. You know, I hope I get to meet you someday. So, you know, that gets me because I never thought my dad would do something like that. So, you know, but our mom, she's a lot. We've also, the 2 neighbors on each side of our mom, they support us and they pulled us to the side, so we gave them a copy of the movie. So we've kind of circled the back. She was all around her.
So you guys moved, so what were you doing in New York?
We were in New York, we had a casting agency that only worked with twins, so they got us a lot of modeling gigs. We actually worked on Zoolander with Ben Stiller in New York, and he established us in this scene, so that actually got us into the Screen Actors Guild.
And then you guys moved out to LA, and what, it's like
was 2000. And right when we moved out there, we had only been in LA for 2 weeks, and we had saved all this money up, and all that money went real quick for first and last month's rent and all that stuff. So then we got a call for Fear Factor. Someone was like, this casting people like, you want to do Fear Factor? And we're like, oh my God, we might as well. So we did that, and it was so funny because we filmed it like December 1st, and then the show aired, and we had a $50,000 check come to the house on like the 20th. We were sitting on our living room floor, and all we had was the sofa, and I was like, we have a $50,000 check laying between us that we can't cash because it's Christmas and nothing's open, and we're eating top ramen. So that was the first thing. So that $50,000 really helped us like get the LA, ball rolling.
Why did you come to LA? What did you want to do?
We came to LA because we had done a couple of little parts on Dawson's Creek, and we had done a Pepsi commercial.
And that's when we met you at Central.
Yeah, so we noticed.
No, we met.
We met before, but then you were working with Central. It's funny because of our favorite show, we love the show Charmed with Alyssa Milano. So we're like, Chad, just get us on Charmed. Whatever you like. The day that he books us, we show up, and there's only 10 extras that had been booked for that day, and the assistant director just flips on.
She's like, I've only got 10 extras, and 2 of them have the same face.
I remember like casting with Spider-Man too, and it's funny because it's like they're like these two silent people behind Tobey Maguire all the time, but and again they have the same face.
Yeah, we kind of noticed the twin thing would get us put in those scenes, and so that's why we did want to come out to LA and kind of see what we could do. And then, I mean, it has been a blessing. Last year was like the best year we've ever had. We did the Adam Sandler movie, the Jack.
Our mom's more proud of Jack and Jill, which we won the Razzie for. She has a documentary.
So we've been really good. We just did, I don't know if you guys know a show called Wipeout, but it's like this show where there's like the big red balls and they just literally beat you to death. And we did that show last year because we needed $50,000 to help pay for the movie. So we won the $50,000 on Wipeout.
I was watching on the course, and every time something would hit him or knock him out, I said, that was for Jolene, keep going.
we kind of had a mission on that one. That was the hardest show we've ever done.
So you're out here, you're working, modeling, doing your stuff. How did you come to write a script for Dolly Parton? And what is the script about?
We actually, we can talk about it, absolutely. We always loved the, creative writing classes in school. We always loved to write, and this actually was like the 4th one that we've written. We write together, but what Full Circle is, we loved the movie Steel Magnolias, not because all the women were Southern, but because it was like a large ensemble cast of women. So then we kind of were like, well, what if we wrote this movie where they're all different walks of life, different ages, the only thing they have in common is that they're women. And Dolly is one of the characters we wrote a specific, person for.
But they all come to this retreat, and they're going through problems in their life, and they kind of meet each other and become a support system that kind of carries them through the rest of their lives. So everyone is dealing with different issues, and they kind of form these friendships. And so the first person we've been friends with Lance Black forever. So I was like, because it really was. It was like 169 pages. And Lance is like, I'm surprised when you handed it to her in the movie, she didn't fall over because it was like so big. So he actually edited it down to like 105, and he said, you guys really have a good script. You've got great characters, storylines, and so now we've got it around Universal. The script's actually out there in Hollywood, so we're hoping that she will attach herself, because that will be like a project within a project. Would be nice. Great. So, and Dolly has been on our side from day one. We had to send her all the footage, and she approved all 17 songs. She approved our image for everything. And, we had only met lawyers and all these people after we had met Dolly in the movie, and she did a press release last week where they were talking about all of her things she has coming up. And somebody, by the grace of God, asked her about Hollywood to Dollywood and her involvement. And she goes, I just love those boys. They're like the sweetest little boys, and I was so proud to be a part of that. And they loved me, and they knew I love them and accept them and don't judge them. She just gave the greatest press release about the movie. So, we still continue to have blessings. And Polly and you, I ran to you guys at Universal Studios at like an Outfest party, and I handed you a flyer because I hadn't seen you in a while. And I said, this is our movie, and we're playing at Outfest. And then, you kept up with us, and she made an amazing YouTube video that said she was watching it late one night on PBS, and she goes, this movie is amazing, and so thank you for doing that. You guys were amazing to bring us here today.
No,
so we appreciate it.
I'm going to go ahead and open this up to questions now.
best friends out here is a lady named Jean, and our mom kind of reached out to her, and they kind of became friends. And Gary told her, he's like, Jean, I just want you to know, one day she's going to kind of say, I want to ask you some questions, and she's going to kind of turn and ask you what we're doing. So a couple of months ago, Jean called us, and she was really upset. She goes, your mom just asked me about you guys, and she was wanting to know about if both of you were definitely gay, and if you were in relationships. So she said, Jean, have you seen the movie? And Jean said, yes, I've seen the movie. She said, well, I just want to know, did they blame me in the movie? And Jean said, absolutely not. So she knows it, she's grasping it, but the fact that our small town, it's going to be, they say, oh, they just did this with Adam Sandler, they just won Wipeout. So she knows this is going to be our outing, and she can't really process it. So
you guys still got to home and
we just go home, and it's like we got two separate lives. They don't talk about it, and we don't mention it, but we're fine when we're there, but they just don't want to know about that part of our life. So we love our parents and we respect our parents, and it's just like we're not going to. Our mom's got a lot of stuff right now. Our dad's having some health problems, so it's like we're not going to be that straw that breaks the back right now. So we're just doing what we have to get through it.
And you guys have been playing festivals for, is Outfest the first festival?
Outfest was July of 2011, and since we started there, we played over 60 film festivals. We were in Scotland, Canada, Australia. We won 25 Best Documentary Awards, and it's just been an amazing trip. We've been 2 years with the project since we filmed it, so now we're just taking the net. We're going to have our theatrical release, and that's for like a week.
And actually on Thursday we're filming, they're doing a twin show, but we're filming the new Jeff Probst television show, his new talk show, so we're going to be on that. We shoot it on Thursday. I'm not sure when it will air, but it's this Thursday.
So they approached us and they said, we kind of found out about you guys and the documentary and, Dolly's involvement, and we're doing a show on twins that are kind of like, trying to make their way in Hollywood, and we want you guys to be on the show. So that was another blessing. So, and we love Survivor.
And what's the Twitter address for this? Holly to Dollywood?
Holly to Dollywood.
So if you're on Twitter, at Holly to Dollywood, you can also follow where they're going, festivals they're winning, and
yeah, and everything's on HOLLYWOOD-to-DOLLYWOOD.com. We even got permission to use for a clip from the press release. We should talk about the movie, so that's up there. And we're done with the film festivals, and that was a little nerve-wracking because we did everything. So I had to send the screeners, the posters, and so that was like hard to keep up with 60 film festivals. But it was
a lot of we have some playing in 3 different areas on the same night. So we have digibetas and everything going everywhere.
But it was,
Lance knows, he's going through it right now.
So let's talk about the trip.
okay.
You started when?
We started May of 2010. We started on the 3rd of May, and she was going to be on the park the 8th and the 9th of May for the opening weekend. Because we had been to Dollywood in the past, in the years past. It's so funny because we're told our parents, how could you not know we were gay? Because we always got one family vacation, and it would always, because we're in North Carolina, it would always come down to Disney World or Dollywood. We've been to Dollywood like 10 times, we've never been to Disney World. So we always knew that opening weekend she's there, and she's around.
Well, when we finished the script, we actually were so excited, we mailed it to her and her people, and they sent it back unsolicited and unopened. I was like, well, let's just get an RV and we'll go.
Yeah, so it was like, so then we knew she was going to be there, and so then it was kind of like, well, we'll try to give it to her on the park. And we did have to get permission from the people at Dollywood to have our cameras on the park, but they don't give you any promise of meeting her. Like Hallmark was there, the Travel Channel was there. They let her know what's going on, and then she makes her decision.
So we still had no promise even getting that we were ever going to meet her. I mean, we could bump into her.
And there were how many possible, like 3 or 4?
3.
3 possible meets.
That last one we were about to jump off the bridge.
Yeah, the last one we said that she had driven by in the car, because they told us, they even came up to us before that, and they said she could ride by and blow the horn and wave, or they said she could stop for 30 seconds, she could stop for 3 minutes, so know what you want to say. But one thing we always like to let people know, especially after you see the movie, is when we initially started the movie, we were only going to try to give her the script, and that was the point of the movie. And there's this little couple that we meet at a truck stop, like right outside of New Mexico. It's the first people we meet other than us in the RV. And she kind of was asking, what's this all about? We're like, oh, we're going to go do a script with Dolly. And then Mike, my partner, was there 5 years. And I didn't tell her that Mike was my partner, because these were just people we were meeting out in the middle of America. So I had kind of felt like we were not truthful to her, and she signed a release because we got her on camera, and she said a prayer for the journey. But after that, and I've emailed her since, and I told her what it was about. I sent her the movie, and she's told me she loved the movie, but I felt like I had misled her to get her to sign that release. So after that, we talked with John Lavin, our director, and we started being truthful to who we are telling our personal story, and that was never the intent at the beginning of it.
Did you have opposition from people along the way saying, I don't want to be a part of this once you told me?
Actually, no. And even we're in Arkansas, and there's these really bad tornadoes that are all around us, and we kind of pull over because the wind is blowing the RV like crazy. So we pull over, and there's this truck driver, and he's just like the straightest truck driver you've ever met in your life. But he sat there and had a Dolly Parton story of why he liked her. So we kind of realized she kind of became a common thread
throughout the whole story.
So everybody had like an amazing story about her. But no, we really didn't have anybody, oppose us when we told them what we were doing and what we were trying to do with the website.
We did in Walmart in Arkansas at one of the Walmarts. The one camera girl had really short hair and she was a lesbian. But right when we walked in Walmart, the 3 or 4 guys were like, "Girls around here have long hair," and I was like, "Turn the cameras on. This is gonna get good."
I told him you cannot film anywhere in Walmart. There's a lot you can't film. But he did. He said, you girls around here keep their hair long or something. So he made that comment to her. So it did kind of put in perspective where we were in Middle America. We were definitely not in California.
So with the theatrical release happening next month, are you guys going to still continue? Are you still doing the festival circuit, or are you
No,
trying
we're done with the film festival. We actually ended in Toronto, and it was the Real Heart Film Festival. We won Best Documentary and Best of the Fest. So that ended on June 30th. And so now we're doing the
We go to New York tomorrow. We're going to do some press in New York, and we actually open on the 30th in New York, in Manhattan, the 30th through the 6th, and then we're here in Hollywood the 6th through the 13th.
And we just signed with Breaking Glass Pictures. We signed a distribution deal with them.
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing. So they're going to have the movie everywhere, Amazon, iTunes, everywhere, the beginning of November. And this is just another thing to show you how things fall into place. 2 of the songs that are in the movie are unreleased songs that Dolly let us have. And one of them is called Celebrate the Dreamer in You. And the pastor was talking about that one. And she actually has a book coming out in November, and the title of it is Celebrate the Dreamer in You. And it's all about how she followed her dreams and how she wants her fans to follow their dreams. So I'm like,
you could not write this.
So they want to have that out.
Is she releasing that song next week?
Well, this is the fingers crossed. Her managers are considering releasing a soundtrack of Hollywood to Dollywood, so that song will be in the soundtrack, which could be nice.
That would be, yeah.
So, and everything goes to her imagination library. The proceeds from the book, the proceeds from the soundtrack will go to that, and then we made it in the contract with her, 10% of every DVD sold goes directly to the imagination library. So
We just kind of kept her involved, so she really appreciated that.
So what is next?
I don't think
Hey,
we're
hey,
ever going to be done with Hollywood to Dollywood. No, we're still going on auditions. We're really excited about the Jeff Probst show, because that's actually kind of cool. And we're going to pitch to him Twin Survivor. If they want to do a Twin Survivor, we would love to be the first set to volunteer. But
We got a couple of documentaries in the works, and
Okay.
we're starting doing some interviews for our next.
we want to do a documentary on gay identical twins, because we know so many that are lawyers that are in Circus LA, and just kind of explore that. When we were on Rosie O'Donnell, she had us on in November of last year, and so it was kind of fun because her hairdresser saw the movie, and literally we got a call, and 3 days later we were sitting on the couch with her. So they flew us in to do the show in Chicago, and so the first thing we do is we go in the green room, and normally they'll come out and they say, okay, this is what we're going to talk about. You get a laid plan, so you're a little bit prepped. So with Rosie, the girl comes in and she goes, Rosie doesn't really like structure. And I was like, what are we going to do? So we literally sit down, and so.
But the whole audience, it was an all-twin show, so everybody in the audience was twins too. But the majority, 90% of the audience was like probably 10 years older. They were younger twins.
There's a
So
lot.
I told Gary, I was like, well, I don't know this audience if she's going to go there with the gay thing or just really how she's going to hit it. I don't know how she's going to do it. Within 8 seconds, she's like, so what's it like growing up gay and with the twin brother? So then we just kind of, so we had a great interview with her, and then at the very end, she put us on the spot. She said, so what's your next documentary? And I said, we want to do a documentary on gay identical twins and kind of just explore that. And so then literally when the show aired, I got like
hundreds of emails from twins, like
Gay
gay
twins, we
twins.
got gay triplets, they're all three lesbians and torn. I mean, they came in from everywhere.
So now, she kind of kicked us in the right direction to, we're working on that documentary now, around working on Hollywood to Dollywood. So it's been amazing. We didn't know distribution, film festivals, editing. We've kind of learned everything on this project.
Oh, you actually learned that as well?
Oh, yeah.
While you were part of the process?
And John Lavin,
Yeah.
does him, because we 45 hours of footage and he cut the 78 minutes. That makes an amazing movie. So.
And on the DVD, are there scenes that are not?
Lots of deleted
More
scenes.
fight scenes, like we argue a lot, and
You're
there's a
gonna
lot.
see too many of the clips we do. We kind of step on each other, and especially when we've had no sleep and we've been sleeping in Walmart parking lots because it was free. So we started getting on each other's nerves, like on down the road. So. But we had a good time doing it. And my partner Mike, it's so funny. He makes he's really good with building and carpentry. He makes custom birdhouses. So he made one of the house that she grew up in that her dad built by hand when she was a little girl. So when we gave her that in the movie, she absolutely loved it. But everybody always like, where's Mike? And I was like, he's building birdhouses because his business has been, he's got so many orders lined up. So he literally is, building 3 for deadlines that have to go out Monday, have to go out tomorrow. So he's been blessed as well.
Wow. Any other questions?
With your twin documentary, are you gonna, or do you even know twins that are one gay, one straight?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We actually, there's a set of twins. There was a Circus Soleil show called Barakai, and they traveled around the world, but their names are Kevin and
They're actually they're Hollywood.
yeah, they're Hollywood and Highland for I think for 10 years now. They just signed a big thing there for Iris. But anyway, so they're the only twins we've met where we've met one of them's husband and we've met the other one's wife, and we honestly believe that one's gay and one's straight because we always meet these twins and they'll say, "Oh, my brother's straight," but then later we hear all
brother
it came
comes
out.
out.
It just takes us so they're the only set we officially know that they're both still married to their partners, and so they are going to be a part of the documentary as well. But there's a lot of twins out there that we've met so many. We got hired by Fox Vodka to do this Fox promotion where we went city to city, like 15 cities a year, and we would go around and we're like, we're the Box Twins. It was really cheesy, and we'd buy them a martini with Box Vodka, but we would have twins because it was advertised they'd come out,
So we met a lot of twins.
we met
along
so
the way.
many twins along the way. There's a lot of gay twins out there, so we're going to kind of tap into that with the documentary.
Have you ever had, because you guys did Dr. Phil too, didn't you?
That was all about Jack and Jill when Adam Sandler was on there, so they brought in a lot of twins from the movie. So
That was a little stressful because on
I was
that
gonna say, have you had an experience where it's like you wish that you hadn't done the show?
Well, what they wanted to do on that one was they had a lot of like talented twins. They had twins juggling, no-handed cartwheels, and he does this thing where he does a big flip off of me, like I'm like the bass because I was the fat twin, so I was like the bass of the pyramid. so he launches, and so what we had to do was, as Dr. Phil comes out, Larry's supposed to go into that flip, and Larry lands right beside Dr. Phil and throws his hands up, and then Dr. Phil goes, "On today's show,
So we had to time it
twins!"
perfect. I was like,
We had to rehearse it, and they were really stressing us out, and I was like, he's gonna like flip and like break an ankle because of the way you're getting all like spastic. But Adam Sandler was amazing. He cast us, and Larry was in Kentucky working on an event for the Kentucky Derby, and when all the twins were coming into their interviews, I was like, well, Larry's in Kentucky because you didn't give us any dates. We needed to leave clear. And literally, the production, Adam Sandler, they flew him in from Kentucky.
paid the production company to get me out of
For
the
4 hours
contract.
to film, and then flew him right back. So they really wanted us to be a part of it. So that was actually pretty cool.
When did you guys stop doing, because I remember, there's one day on set we're at catering, and one of you put down like mashed potatoes or something, and the other one was like, "Don't eat that." Do you remember that?
Just
Like,
say when they say the same size.
size.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were doing
He'll
this.
still do that. He'll eat a Snickers bar, and he'll bring me a Snickers bar. We always have that mentality, and especially usually it's me because I was like 5 or 10 pounds heavier at certain times. And so then like even our friends we
It
went to
became
school
Great Gary and Little Larry. So
People I went to school would say, "Oh, that's Great Gary," because he's fatter. You know, it can be tough.
Well, our older brother, we have an older brother, so when he got married, he moved out of the house, and we finally got our separate rooms around 13 or something like that. So at night, I would start doing sit-ups and stuff. I remember the first night I could do only like about 10 sit-ups, and I was about to die, but slowly I kept doing more and more. So 3 weeks into it, by the time I've already dropped like 10 or 15 pounds, then he starts, and he's like trying to catch up with me.
So that was hard, because when people see twins, they always go, oh, y'all stand side by side, and then the first thing they do is, well, his ears are fatter, his face is fatter, his nose is bigger, and they start finding differences. So we used to hate when people would do that when we were little. So I think the weight thing always made me, I had always had a complex about that.
But it was funny because they used to be like fitness, like ripped,
We used
jacked up rip, and I remember.
and so we were always,
Don't eat that.
yeah, we had to kind of keep,
carbs.
yeah, we had to do the no carbs, and thank God, I mean, we're 37 now, so we switched all that out, thank God. We eat potatoes now.
Any other questions?
Well,
I take it first.
do you remember your first film festival and how did you feel? Were you nervous?
The first one, this is funny, the first one was actually a year ago in July. It was Outfest, and we had, we sold at the DGA, we sold out 600 tickets, but it was the weekend of Carmageddon. So I was like, what if nobody shows up? And
We were so nervous, and then the new Harry Potter movie came out that weekend. I was like, between it's Potter versus Barton, and I was like, I think Potter's gonna win. But so then we got there, and Carmageddon, nobody knew. Remember the newscasters like it's the end of the world, and our movie was playing the next morning, and so then we had like 550, all but like 50 seats were full out of the 600.
And the whole cast was there, Chad and Leslie and Lance, everybody's there. So.
But one amazing story that came out of the first screening, because we had to do the Q&A, we were really nervous, but we had this lady who looks just like Dolly Parton. I was like, so I want to have her there because it's kind of fun, and she'll play up the Dolly thing, take pictures. So we brought her in, and she was amazing. And even like Radar Online and Perez Hilton, they ran stories saying Dolly Parton shows up at Outfest for her Hollywood Dollywood screenings. They actually posted it was her. But so anyway, that lady, her name was Charlene. She had a friend with her who she'd been friends with for like 10 years that lived in Europe, and she was in town visiting her that weekend, so she brought her up there with her, and we met her. And so when the movie was about to start, she said, "Do you care if we watch it? I'd love to see it." I was like, "No." So we brought them in, and so then after the screening was over, everybody was coming up, and we're just being amazing and really emotional and a lot of tears. And this was the first time we'd seen the movie impact people. And so I saw Charlene, and I wanted to make it a point to go thank her for coming and being a part of it before she left. And so when I went over there, she had tears in her eyes, and I was like, what's wrong? And so she goes, well, you're not going to believe this. She goes, but my friend, and her friend was right beside of her. She goes, after she watched the movie, she just came out to me and told me that she was a lesbian. And I was like, and I started getting emotional, and then I called Mike over there, and I was like, I felt the impact the movie had on her to do that with Charlene, and so that was like one of our first stories that let us know we had done the right thing.
And then it started happening at a lot of the question and answers. A lot of people would get really emotional. I remember we were in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I think out of 60, we went to over 30 question and answers. Like we went in, usually on our dime, but we wanted to be there. And a little boy we always sat in the back so we can kind of watch the audience's reaction. And there was a little boy that sat beside us, and we thought he was around maybe 13, 14, 15. And at the end of the movie, his mom turns around, she was sitting in front of us, and she goes, "This is my son John. He just came out to me yesterday on his 15th birthday that he was gay and he really wanted to see your movie." So we knew we had done the right thing with the message and already helping people. So.
Another question? Sort of back.
So what do you want people to leave right after watching the movie?
I just want people to be happy with who they are and feel loved and accepted. And, we do hit a lot on the South because that's our story. And in our opinion, the South is about 20 or 30 years behind the rest of the United States as far as acceptance. And, so we kind of just want to get our message out there and let everyone see that everyone should be happy and proud of who you are. And, just the fact that my dad has seen the movie and reached out to my partner, if nothing else ever comes, like that is enough for me that my dad did that, And I do feel like our mom, because our mom is proud of us and she loves us, and she's had situations where she's seen members of our family that have been kind of ostracized because of being gay, and so she doesn't want that to ever happen with us. She's never going to turn her back on us. She's always going to love us and be proud of us. She just can't. She feels like she has to get us on the right track where we'll be in heaven with her, and that's just the way she is. She's not going to change. She's known for 12
Because
years.
we've had people say it'll get better, but we know our mom and our situation. I don't know that I'll ever see it changing completely. Like we say in the movie, our boyfriends will never be sitting around our Thanksgiving table with our mom. I don't believe that, not in our lifetime. But then you have, go ahead. You have the flip around because Cody, who we saw the clip, Cody, when he came out with his parents, it's been about 11 years, and he has not talked to them in 11 years, and they don't know anything about his son. They don't want anything to do with him in their life. So there's always that opposite side of the spectrum where you have to be thankful for the situation you're in, that we do have our mom in our life and our dad. One thing that we want to, okay, on our moms, just do the math and see what I don't know. On our mom's side of the family, there's 13 first cousins. She's got 4 or 5 sisters. But 13 first cousins, 7 out of the 13 are gay. On our dad's side, same thing. On our dad's side, we have 6 first cousins that are lesbians. So the family tree's like this. No, it's not. We got no branches. We like go straight down. We just had a second cousin who's 24. She was married. She has a little boy. Came out to us that she was a lesbian. And I was like, I'd sent her the movie. I was like, here's our story, because she hadn't seen it yet. So then her aunt, which is our first cousin, said, well, her mom threw her out. She doesn't want anything to do with her because of this choice. So, and then that first cousin came out to me that she was a lesbian, and we didn't even know this. So it's like now they're all coming out like out of the woodwork. The family reunions are going to be like a pride festival.
One last question, Polly.
I just, you kind of touched on it there, but and by the way, there's tons of Southern here. This church is.
Yeah, how many here is from the South?
I mean,
Well, it's like the entire room.
Close enough.
I'll be your Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
I was.
It's like
There were a lot of us know so much what you're talking about, just the steeped in bigotry of all kinds. But the rejection of your family and that kind of thing. But what's always like interesting to me and also so aggravating and heartbreaking is that whenever you tell a certain group that, okay, now like we don't like you, whatever, but God doesn't like you. Like that is just the thing. That's the thing that is. It's just shocking, and we all, so many of us grew up like that, in that environment, witnessed it, watching it happen to other people, or it happened to people that were here. And having being down south like that, I grew up there too. How did you guys, or if you have, or that process of reconciling the fact that that just isn't true? God doesn't hate you.
We actually, because we did grow up in the church, we do have, and I've had this conversation with our mom, we have a strong faith, a strong belief in God. We know we've had so many blessings in our life, and we've known how we felt from an early age, so we don't feel in any way that we chose this life that we're living. So we know that, God has definitely been on our side. We know that He's
just like every other gay person, we know we didn't make a choice, and I know a lot of people, you just get tired of hearing, oh, you chose this, because I know inside I didn't choose it. And I know other gay people, everybody feels that. It's not a choice, and that's why in the movie I had another moment like that. But at that point in the movie, when I really got kind of upset and defensive of her mom, I just really started to think about, she's going to see this, and I feel like right now we're more attacking her. So I want to just rein it back in, because I knew eventually she'd see it. And a lot of our aunts, a lot of our mom's sisters, we went to a festival in Durham, North Carolina, and our aunt and uncle walked right in the theater. They didn't know we were going to be there, and we definitely didn't know they were going to be there. But they were really cool, and at the end of it, our uncle, he's always been kind of negative, so I was like, we were actually coming to Durham to do the festival, and then we were going to drive right over and surprise our mom. She didn't know we were in North Carolina. So at the end, I said, I'm telling you, at the end of a question and answer, we always kind of get bombarded. And I said, if they go for that door, I'm walking out. I'm going to get him before he gets out in that parking lot, let him know not to call my mom stuff. But they were so supportive. They waited in line. There was like 200 people at that screening, and they waited in line until everyone went out. And it was weird. It became like a, telling the couple, congratulations for getting married. Everybody going out wanted to shake our hand or give us a hug, and our aunt and uncle waited at the back of that line and went all the way through, and the woman right in front of them just broke down in tears when she was hugging us, and she said, your movie is going to save lives. So they heard that and saw the impact it had on her, and then they were, in tears, and they said, you guys have done a good thing. It's time for this stuff to be talked about in our family, and they were proud of us. And
our mom's sister felt guilty about going to see that because she felt like it was betraying our mom a little bit. So, but our mom does know now from this last visit that she has seen it, and so it's getting out there. I really hope she sees it and sees that, we do have a positive story to tell, and it has helped a lot of people. So we're very proud of it.
And it has not changed us at all who we are, just the fact that we're gay now. So I mean, that's another part of the message.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Please come in back, and there's a little basket back there too if you would